friends, welcome to the first kind of episode of Not Enough Spoons for Mondays. So for anyone who isn't on our Patreons, we did like a pilot season of this for our patrons just so that we could see if this was doable. Truly, it was like us trying to figure out if we could actually record almost every week. Our goal is to do it every week, but there will be times where that is not possible. So our goal will to have this out every single Monday, but you know, we are single moms with kids. So sometimes things come up and will hinder that happening. But our plan is to be here every single week. So for those who don't know us, maybe from BookTube, I'm Brittany.
This is
Neva. And we have been friends for what is two years?
Oh God.
2-ish?
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Yes. And we met here on the internet on BookTube. And immediately we realized we found our spirit animals in each other. And we were like, no matter what happens in life, you are now a part of my life. Like there is just, it just is what it is. Like you're stuck with me, I'm stuck with you, and we ride or die. And that's just what has happened.
Yeah, it has to have been almost 3 years because we both started BookTube in 2022.
Yeah.
You started your channel right after I started mine.
Mm-hmm. Mine was in August. My very first video was in August TBR.
And my very first sprint happened in May.
Okay. So yeah, we're barreling towards 3 years here of us being
crazy.
Crazy.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. It feels like not that much time, but also it feels like you've been in my life forever. So, you know, like both things be true.
Yeah. I think what's crazy to me is that I've been on the internet for that long. I mean, I started with Instagram, like Bookstagram, in 2020. You can't find any of those posts anymore because all of them circled around when G was doing the, you know,
Magical
before she started doing Aurelium, she was doing the Magical Readathon, which was like inspired by a certain fandom. If you know, you know. And I did that for a few years, but I didn't start posting about it until 2020. I started doing it in 2018 when she started doing it. But then I posted about it in 2020 because what else did I have to do during a panorama? And that's also when I discovered that BookTube was a thing. Because before that, I was only following like true crime channels and like conspiracy channels. Like I was following like what everybody else was following on YouTube. But yeah, and then other people in the community were like, "Oh, you should start a channel if you want to," type thing. So I started one in 2022.
And fate happened and we met. And I'm so glad. So this show is just based off us wanting to chat to you all for about an hour. They're going to be about an hour long. We'll chat. We'll do some fun things. We usually come in with a plan. Sometimes we don't. And sometimes we just kind of go off the cuff. But today we have a plan. So, you know, that's good. But first, let's explain the name. We've explained it on the pilot season, but since this is the first like real episode, let's chat about the name. Not Enough Spoons for Mondays. We had decided to do the show after a Thursday sprint, or actually like in the middle of a Thursday sprint. We were chatting and someone in the comments, and I wish I had screenshotted it to remember who said it, but they said something about the Neva and Brittany show. And I literally had an epiphany and started fostering Neva like immediately. I was like, Neva, what about a morning show? Like, what if we did a talk show? Like, seriously, we need to do this. And this is how it came about. And then we were thinking about what to name it. And we both used the spoons theory, which I will get Neva to explain because she's much better at explaining it than I. But we both use it. And I went, what about if we don't have enough spoons for Mondays? And here it is. So, Neva, would you like to explain the spoons theory for the people?
I would love to explain spoons theory. Okay, so spoons theory is a thing that neurodivergent people use. Some neurodivergent people use. I was introduced to it, I don't know, like 10 years ago in therapy, I think. But the spoons theory is essentially that you only have so many spoons for the day. Some people use, the one that I've seen the most often is using 24 spoons. But every activity that you do from getting up in the morning to going to sleep at night uses so many spoons of your day. And once your spoons are depleted. You don't have any more spoons. So your choice is to either stop for the day and rest, right? Or to use spoons from the next day. But then that means that you will have less spoons the next day than you did the first day. You won't start with, if you borrow spoons for the next day, you won't have 24 spoons tomorrow. And sometimes we just don't have enough spoons to make it through Monday.
So
But
many times we
yeah,
don't have spoons to make it through Mondays.
but Brittany and I also say that we are no spoon friends.
We
So
are.
we can hang out with each other, we can talk, and we don't really use any spoons to do that. And there are no spoon activities. Obviously, it's going to vary for you. For me, reading a book is, depending on the book I'm reading, is a no spoon activity. So if I'm just reading a book to read it, like I'm just reading it for enjoyment, I'm just reading it because I want to relax, that's a no spoon activity. If I'm listening to like a nonfiction or a classic, that's gonna use me some spoons. You know what
That
I mean?
takes the mental capacity of spoons. It
But
does.
if I'm just like listening to like my favorite book, or it doesn't even have to be a favorite book. It could be a book I've never read, but a lot of times like a romance, if I'm listening to a romance, that takes really no spoons. Coloring on my iPad is, for me, is a no spoon activity. That's not for everybody, but whatever. There are no spoon activities also. And so yeah, Brittany and I've always said that we're no spoon friends.
We are no spoon friends. And the reason being is I have a lot of social anxiety, which I think a lot of people don't realize, because being online, it doesn't necessarily show as much when
Yep.
I'm online. But I think because I'm in the comfort of my own home and like on a computer, it makes it less stressful for me in the social anxiety department. But Neva and I, for some reason, like, and I've said this to you before,
Mhm.
is that I know that you will never misunderstand what I say. And even if you did misunderstand what my intention was, you would always take it in the positive intention. You would never assume that I meant something in a non-positive, like you would. And if you did, you would check in with me. You'd be like, did you mean it this way? And I'd be like, no. And you'd be like, I didn't think so, but just
I'd
wanted
be
to
like,
check.
hold on.
Like, right. You'd be like, wait a minute, I clearly misunderstand that. Like, we give each other the benefit of the doubt in a safe space, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
therefore, I'm not needing to like use 32 emojis to express that what I'm saying is a funny joke, you know?
Right. Yeah. We don't have to like over punctuate or
Mhm.
over emojify. I don't know what emojify is a
I
word,
think that
but
we've made it a word just now.
I made it up.
Mhm.
But yeah, we don't have to like, if we need clarification, we'll ask for it, because Brittany and I are both also chronic overthinkers.
Oh, big time.
Who also have crippling social anxiety. So those two things can make it so that we don't always understand what other people are saying. But
Mhm.
when it comes to me and Brittany, we can be like, hey, dude, I don't think you meant it this way, but I just want to check, you know? We won't like be like, oh, wow, that was rude. And then just like not speak to each
I
other.
think that's the thing, is I think we're in such a safe place that I never worry that any of our interactions will be misconstrued and we will never speak again, where that is a constant fear when I have most
With other
interactions with
people.
humans. Yes.
This is also a constant fear for me as well.
Mhm. Where I never fear that, because no matter what, we will speak tomorrow. We will speak in an hour.
Absolutely. I mean, we can hang out for 2 hours behind the scenes and then we're talking to each other. We'll be like, okay, we'll talk later. And 10 minutes later, we're boxing.
Literally. We say this all the time because we'll spend like 8 hours on sprints and I'll be like, I got to go for bones. I don't know when I'll talk to you next, but like literally it'll probably be before I go to bed. Like it will be
Yeah.
today.
It would be like, okay. And then I'm just talking to her the whole time she's watching Bones. It's fine. She's watching Bones. I'm watching whatever,
Yeah.
coloring, whatever.
Yeah. That's just how our friendship is. Like it's just, I'm so glad that I met you here. And now we have this, which is
So
a
fun.
fun place for us to just like chat, but also have you all interact with us in different ways through our chatting and stuff. So it's a fun time. We enjoyed doing the pilot season, and I'm really excited to move it to its own like place. Um,
Yes.
Now we do have a couple of things that we've decided to do as kind of like running segments, and then we'll switch up the segments later in the show every week, depending on what we want to do. Today, we actually have a really fun game that I want to make sure that we get to. So we may get to it sooner rather than later, just so that I know that we have time, because Neva and I are pretty excited about playing this game. And truly, I don't know how it's going to go. But anyway, before we get to that, I'm going to ask Neva, how was your weekend? Truly, I will tell you, so that before you throw it back at me, just so you know sometimes how like one of us has done no things.
Yeah.
That would be me this weekend. And you may also have done no things, and we might just have a really small, what did we do this weekend? I read, and I was on the internet with Kelsey, and I did a live show. Like, I have been here in this desk working or reading all weekend.
To be honest, I also did next to no things. I did finally, because we're on camera, I can hold it up because it's so cute. I think it's so cute. I did receive my A5 binder. And there will be journaling content coming to my channel because I found by accident, actually, through like YouTube Shorts, there's a girl on there, and she has a her YouTube channel and her Etsy shop are one Sunday studio, and she has these printable trackers. So I was like, maybe, and I had been going back and forth since the beginning of the year about whether I should use physical trackers, because everything else for me is digital. Like, I do digital planning, digital reading, journaling, all of that. But I am really bad at digitally tracking things, like really bad. I'll just forget that I'm supposed to be tracking.
We have both talked about this of like, we are the opposite in this, where if it's digital, I will never look at it again. Like, I need paper.
And I look at my iPad is literally sitting right here next to me with my planner page pulled up. I will look at that. I've checked in yesterday with I set up like a reading page for this week because I'm waiting for a new reading journal to be made. So I'm kind of trying to make it work for me until I get that. I will check it because it's pretty, right? But tracking, like I've had habit trackers and stuff on my journal page or on my planning pages, and they never get checked off. They never get looked at. Like, I look at the things I need to do, and that's it. So I ordered some markers, which I'm still waiting for. But I was like, maybe if I have a binder that has physical pages in it, this can become part of my morning routine. So it is not caught up because I don't have my markers, so I don't want to like color on any of the pages. But I have like my gratitude and my highlight of the day. I've been keeping up with that. But I have them. I'm gonna make some like cute dividers. My dividers are not cute. I'm not even gonna show you what they look like. It's literally just a piece of this cardstock with like morning and evening written across it. But I have them separated out, and like I said, it's not caught up. But like, this is like the sleep tracker.
Ooh, I love the look of that.
Color code it, and then you color in every day. So I've just kind of been keeping track of it on my phone so that I can go in whenever my markers come. They should be here in a couple days. And I can like catch it up or whatever. But so far, I've stuck with the gratitude and the highlight of the day. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to stick with the rest of these. But it's really important to my chronic pain doctor that I have some way of tracking my my pain and my energy levels. And I was like, that's not going to happen if I continue to try to do this digitally. So I did that. I set that up this weekend.
I love that. I love how, might I add, I also love the color, that pink color. I'm obsessed.
And it said on Amazon it was like a pink glitter. And honestly, I was a little disappointed when I opened it because I was expecting it to be like chunky glitter.
Super glitter.
But the more I look at this, the more I'm like, you know what though? The subtle glitter is actually nice.
Honestly, and I also, even on camera, you can tell that it shimmers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the only other thing I really did this weekend was, I don't know if anyone else is playing this game. I'm going to do a live stream on Instagram. By the time that this goes up, people will like, it'll already be there, but I'll save the live stream because you can save them.
You can go back.
I am obsessed with the games Good Coffee, Great Coffee, and Good Pizza, Great Pizza.
I was about to go, let me guess. Let me just shot in the dark it. I knew it was going to be Good Pizza, Great Pizza. I did that the coffee one was coming out and that
Yeah.
you were excited about.
The coffee one came out on February 27th, but
Mhm.
because I pre-ordered it or it's a pre-download, okay?
Right.
I do have Apple Arcade. I just want to like preface that because it appears that some people are having to pay for it if you don't have like there's like a free version and then a paid version.
Right.
I pay for Apple Arcade by the year. So if you want to be able to play it like 100% for free, I feel that Apple Arcade is worth it. They have a lot of really awesome games that you would have to pay for anyway. That's also how I play like Clue. They have Clue on there as well. So like a lot of the paid games that you would download on Apple, you get them for like your subscription price or whatever. So I think it's like $100 for the or $50 for the year or $6.99 for the month or something like that. Like it's not a to me, it's not super
That's not bad,
expensive.
really, because $6.99 a month. I mean, if you were going to buy one game, you're basically paying that.
That's it.
Right. So as long as you're getting more than like one a month, you're coming out ahead realistically.
Yeah. So the only other game that I pay for is my coloring game. I do pay for that for by the year as well. But the coffee one just came out and I was watching the Lit Homebody, Tessa, if anybody knows who that is. I love her. She's so like bookish and aesthetic. Like I could never be as aesthetic as she is.
We are not the aesthetic booktubers. That is not our we're moms. My house is not aesthetic.
But like all of the cozy like reading like atmospheric playlists that I have, I've gotten from Tessa because she's just so aesthetic. Like I love her so much. But she was trying to learn how to play on a live stream on Sunday. And I commented in her live stream and I was like, maybe I should do like a tutorial because I'm on like day 100. Okay. I'm like very obsessed with this game. And she's like, that would be so fun. So I put up a poll and then she actually commented on the poll and was like, yes, you should do it. So I think I'm going to do one on Saturday and then I'll just save it to my, like my grid or whatever. But I am really, I printed out the recipes. Like I typed them up.
Oh, yes.
And printed them out for both good pizza, great pizza, and for good coffee, great coffee. Because I don't know about anyone else's memory. I have memory problems. So like I can be making the same thing over and over and I won't remember what's supposed to go on it. I actually had this problem working at Taco Bell. Like there were certain things I would always remember, but as soon as a new thing got introduced, I knew how to do nothing. I was like, a new thing introduced? Absolutely not. So I typed them up and I hole punched them and I put them in the back of my binder because then it can just sit open without like paper everywhere. So that's all I did this weekend. I read and played games and hung out with Ellie, of course, but
well, yeah, me too. Like obviously I parented and all those things, but nothing like exciting happens, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, the next section we're going to do is our currently reading section. And that is always not necessarily a stack, but this week it is. I don't know if you have a stack, but I certainly do. And for amazingly, the millionth week in a row, we are doing another buddy read for the morning show. And it's not on purpose. It has never been on purpose, but it has happened every time we were filming this in the pilot season. And still to this day, we are reading the same book or almost, because are you done Fourth Wing?
Almost Fourth Wing, yes.
You're done. So we are both on Iron Flame then.
Yeah, I started Iron Flame yesterday. I'm behind you, but I started Iron Flame yesterday.
That's okay. No big deal. So I'm currently reading 4 books. All of them are for reasons, which is not always the case, but for this week, it's the case. I have The Awakened Mange by Karen Miller, which is the sequel to The Innocent Mange, which I read in January. I read this with Margaret. We're doing a buddy read. Am I behind? Yes, it's fine. We're not going to talk about that. Then I'm reading The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy for the live show for Genre Blend Comp Club on Saturday, which by the time you see this, that will have already happened. So if you want to go back and watch it, it's on Julie's channel. By the way, when we say this, we don't film these on Mondays. They come out on Mondays. We typically film either the Tuesday or the Wednesday prior. Just wanted to let you all know that when we say things have already happened, that's why.
Could you imagine if we film these on Mondays and then put them up on Mondays?
Could not, because we sometimes have to edit stuff because like children will run through the room or whatever. Like it's just not possible to fully do this and edit it and have it go out in the same day. We don't do a lot of editing, but like occasionally there needs to be some stuff. It just wouldn't be possible. So anyway, if you want to go back and watch that, you can. So I need to finish this by Saturday so that I'm like able to speak during the live show. I'm reading Deep End for B&K Book Club, which that was like I said I had sprints this weekend. That was for these, but I haven't really picked up the book much since, truly. And then I'm buddy reading Iron Flame with Neva, as mentioned. And truly, I thought I was going to finish this before I got here. I really thought I had enough time this morning to finish this book. And the fact that I have left it at, let me show you how little I have left in Iron Flame coming into this.
I mean, it's okay.
It's so little.
It's fine. I'm behind too. Or I'm behind anyway. So like,
I'm just like, not, it's fine to leave a book with that little, but like, you're just so close. Like I just, I should have just finished.
You can taste it. You can taste how close you are.
Taste it. It's not a big deal. I'll get to it tomorrow at this point. I don't have any more reading time in today's list of things because I have this editing and people coming over tonight. So like it will be a tomorrow task, but that's fine. I'm sure for the people who love Fourth Wing, they're like, how could you leave it for a whole day with that little left? But I do this with books all the time though. I read really so many books.
Brittany stops in the middle of chapters and it
all
makes
the time.
my eye twitch. All the time. Okay, so I also have a stack. But I also now have a TBR card. I should have said that. We built the TBR card this weekend. That's also what we did. So I'm a professional now. I'm going to have to get a second one because this TBR card is simply only for what I'm currently reading and what I plan to read this year. And then I need a second one for all of for a clear the cart situation. This just has my currently reading stuff on it, like my current month TBR. And then my 25 and 25 and my self-destruct books that I own physically, which all my self-destruct books I own physically, but my 25 and 25 I don't own all those physically.
You got a pink TBR card too, right? That's what I saw, like the rose gold one.
Yeah, I have a pink one. It's very cute. Okay, so we're still working on Assassin's Blade. We're not going to talk about this. I should be done with this so that I can move on because I'm trying to read one a month. But honestly, I'm reading it by myself, so I can take as much time as I need or want. Still loving it. Okay, so we're still reading that. I have I think 1.5 stories left. I am listening to it with audio. So once I buckle down, it'll be done. I'm reading Phantasma. I'm not really going to speak on this because I am behind with my KU clean out. But y'all heard it here first. I'm going to make a community post. I've decided that instead of trying to pressure myself into doing KU clean out every single month, that's what it was my goal originally, was to have one a month. I'm just going to kind of film them and then they're going to go up as they go up.
This is me with vlogs. We've discussed this. This is my whole plan with vlogs this year, is I will film them. When they are done, you will see them.
And honestly,
that is the best I can do this year.
Brittany is the reason that I chose to do it this way. Because originally I was like, well, you can do one a month, which yes, but I have other projects and stuff that I'm working on too. And while I did set deadlines for those projects, some of those are also going to have, everything is just going to have to kind of be like when it gets filmed, it gets filmed. Because I feel like this, I already have a plan as to the order in which things are going to get done. And that's going to have to be good enough.
That is good enough. And truly, that's the thing with this year. We've discussed this. I don't know where we've discussed this. Probably, maybe online, maybe not online. Who knows? But this year, there is so many projects going on behind the scenes. That are all coming out at different times, different stretches, different whatevers. And to have all that happening at the same time and then hard deadlines on vlogs, it's not possible. Not without burning yourself out. It's just not possible. And I want to participate in all these projects. There's so many fun things like Genre Bed Comp Club. There's so much that we have in the pipeline that this too, like this whole morning show,
Yeah.
like we have this going on this year. Like there's just so many things that
Yeah.
are so fun and exciting to be a part of that like I want to give us time to do that.
And I really want 2025 to be like the year that I like allow myself to do as many buddy reads as I want and to do collabs with other people. Like, we just did, by we, I mean me and Brittany, we just did a hockey romance collab, which is up, which is why I'm talking about it. And we were invited to that by Vanessa from Reads with Dr. B. Like, I want to be able to do things like that. And so in order for me to do things like that are going to have deadlines because it's a collaboration, that means that for my actual personal channel and like my own content, I'm just gonna have to be more like give myself more grace on like, okay, well you're actively working on it. It's okay if it takes a while for it to go up.
We are giving ourselves grace this year. That is the main thing that we are doing this year, is giving ourselves grace.
Okay. I don't know if I said how many books I have. Technically, I have 7. Am I currently reading?
I thought my 4 was bad.
But here's the thing: is I'm gonna explain why I have so many.
Yeah.
Because technically, 2 of these are for KU Clean Out, but 2 different episodes. Because I freaked myself.
Double filming.
Yes. Because I freaked myself out and I was like, you're not going to get this out before March. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, okay, like now you're trying to like, or no, I'm sorry. One is for KU Clean Out. The other is for the series, that like my series.
Yes, but still like 2 different vlogs you're working on at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm working on them at the same time. So House of Bane and Blood, I'm at 77%. I need to finish that. I'm actually going to get that's a buddy read with Margaret. I'm going to get with Margaret this week and see if she's okay with me just finishing it, even if that means that she needs to wait. Because House of Bane and Blood is not in a vlog, and I cannot use it for Realmathon because I'm too far into it.
Right.
The beginning of March. So basically what I was trying to do was finish out any books that I was too far into. So like Assassin's Blade, I also can't use. I was too far into it. I couldn't use Fourth Wing. I was too far into it, which is fine. I'm not like mad.
No, it's only the 4th of March. So like you still got lots of time to read for Realmathon. Tons.
I have The Night Shift. This is an arc that I think may have already come out. I'm very behind on arcs. I've read no arcs this year. And I went into my NetGalley like app, and you can sort by like the books that are going to be archived in the next 30 days. Now I have all of them downloaded. I'm not worried about them archiving, but this at least gave me an idea of like the books that I need to catch up on. So this is a thriller. I don't know that it's going to be more than 3 stars, to be honest. It's about a chick who works the night shift in like a storage unit place. I thought this was about a nurse. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's a big difference.
And like, here's the thing. It kind of is, because she's going to school to be a doctor and she's working the night shift.
Yes.
Why? Yeah. So I was like, okay, you weren't off like that far off.
No, but, like, I see where you were going.
The cover is a chick running up a stairwell. So I was like, oh, she must be a nurse. And then kind of, you know what I mean? And it's fine. It's not like anything to write home about so far. You know, it's like, it gives me like Frida McFadden vibes, but it's fine. The next one I have is Addicted for Now. This is the 3rd book in the Addicted Calloway or Addicted collection of books. We're just going to say that so my assistant doesn't freak out on my computer. Depending on when you read this is going to be dependent on what you call this. So when I first found this collection of books, it was still being called the Addicted Calloway Sisters. So now it's just called Addicted because they've taken all 10 books and put them into one saga. This is being read. This is one of my like focus sagas for the year. I have 3 or 4 that I like spun the wheel for, and this is the first one that came up. I've read the first 2. I actually like accidentally reread the second one last year because I thought I hadn't read it. It's fine. We love this series. It is about addiction. Please check your trigger warnings. Both of our main characters are addicts, so there's that. Then I have Powerless and Powerful. This is where we get into like what I'm actually reading for the month. This is like actually on my TBR.
These are Realmathon reads happening.
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing this as a tandem read because they fall on the same timeline and I didn't want to read both timelines at the same time. Patreon is also going to get a spoiler-filled vlog for this because Rainey gave me Powerless last year as like her pick and I never read it. Like I started it 3 times and then never finished it. So I'm going to do a Patreon spoiler-filled vlog for these also. So if you're on there, then you'll get to see a spoiler-filled vlog. My thoughts so far are I'm really loving the little novella, even though I've only read the prologue. Like I'm intrigued by the novella. First of all, the type in this Powerless book is so small. It is so small. Like I don't understand why it's so small in a YA book. That's ridiculous. So I am reading it on my Kindle because I own it on my Kindle anyways. And I don't really know how I feel about this one.
We all know I didn't like this.
I just don't really care, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But the little novella, I'm like loving that. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's not surprising to me knowing who the novella follows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I like at least I mean I've only read the female perspective of the novella so far because like I said, is a tandem read, so there's like a chart that you follow.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about the male or the female perspective in Powerless. But I'm trying. I'm trying. This will not make it so that I'm no longer I don't think this is what I'll measure my romantasy against.
No.
I'll say that because House of Bane and Blood, I'm loving that. And that's romantasy too.
This is something that I was actually talking about with my patrons yesterday, was that I'm 100% in my fantasy romance era. I mean, my best book of the year was When the Moon Hatched. So like that would never have happened in past years. So that just is like a cornerstone of that. Yes, that's true. But within fantasy romance or romantasy, whatever you want to, whichever side of it you're kind of looking at, whatever, there is a lot of variety under that umbrella.
There is, yeah.
Of very different types of books. And the kind that I like is not necessarily the popular titles that are being pushed out by a lot of people.
Which is fair.
I don't feel like I necessarily gravitate to popular fantasy romance. Now, that being said, When the Moon Hatched is popular and I loved it. That is a popular one. And I'm not saying I don't love all popular ones. Quicksilver, the other one. But I would say that like I can't necessarily trust like it being super hyped to be a reason for me to pick it up. Does that make sense?
And I think that's also where I find that I'm falling too. Because so like for instance, I liked Games God's Play. I liked that book more than you did. I gave it like 4.5 stars, I think.
Oh yeah, you liked it more than I did, but I still liked it enough that I'm excited for the sequel.
Yeah, I'm excited for the sequel. Like I pre-ordered the sequel, right? But I did buy a couple of books in November. I bought so many books in February. We're not even going to talk about it. But I bought a couple of books in November because November is birthday month for me. And there were a few that some of our friends that are also romantasy girlies were like, hey, this was really boring. I didn't like this book. That I am actually excited to read. I don't know if you read this one or not, but When the Stars Are Dying.
I did. I didn't love that one.
And honestly. You didn't love that one. So I have it, and I did pick up the sequel. And here's why. Because the sequel came out before I thought it was supposed to. And I'd already pre-ordered the second one. So I didn't pre-order the third one. I didn't pre-order the second one. I could always cancel the third one if I need to, but I didn't pre-order the second one. So when I went to the bookstore at the beginning of February, or the end of February, I grabbed the second one because I was like, okay, if I don't like these, I can
want matching ones if you like
it. But if I like it, I need to have the matching one. And what I was afraid of, because my Walmart tends to, so my indie bookstore does not tend to carry a lot of the sprayed edge like first editions. I just don't think they have it in their budget, to be honest.
Yes.
A lot of the books that they carry are more popular books, and they are after, unless they are getting like indie copies. So like I was able to get an indie copy of the third Crescent City book.
Yeah.
But that's because it was a special like indie bookstore copy.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do a lot of like the first edition sprayed edges. So my option where I live is Walmart. I'm gonna be real. Like if I want to get it right now. Otherwise, I have to wait for it to come like from Barnes, which I do sometimes. But Walmart had it, so I grabbed it. And I was like, okay, if I do like these, I'm going to want matching. If I don't, I can always resell them, like if I really need them off my shelf. But
yeah.
They have pretty edges. I might just keep them on my shelf anyway.
Honestly, I wish I would have liked it more because I truly love how they look, like the printed hardbacks and
They're
stuff.
so
And I didn't
pretty.
hate it. So you might really like because I
They're
didn't
so
hate
pretty.
it. I gave it like a 3 or a 3.5. I don't remember. I think it was a 3.
Yeah.
Like it
But
wasn't
not enough to move on. Yeah.
right,
Which
exactly.
I understand. But I also grabbed Quicksilver, which I understand is a popular book.
You're going to love it.
But Brittany liked Quicksilver. And here's what I found when it comes to me and Brittany. Me and Brittany, when it comes to fantasy and kind of the sect of fantasy, I just mean fantasy as a whole genre. So fantasy, romantasy, fantasy romance, whatever. And when it comes to some romance, because I will say that we kind of deviate sometimes with sports romance in particular. Especially like hockey romance. There's some hockey romance that I liked that you didn't consider me as one.
Yeah, I did not.
And you only did like a try the chapter. Here's the thing. I didn't think I would like Consider Me at first. I actually thought I was going to get 3 duds, and then I just talked about fucking Sweet in that vlog because I was like, okay, I need something.
I need something positive in here. Yeah.
I DNF'd 2 books. I did give Consider Me a very high score. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to go watch it. Mm-hmm. But I did give Consider Me a very high score. However, it took me until like 50% to get there.
And that book is not small, friends. That 50% is a whole romance novel. I
did get the audio off of Hoopla. And I do think that in this case, the audiobook, I did read part of it, like the last half of it, I did read on my Kindle. But I do think that for the first half, because I love the male narrator, like as a narrator, that redeemed it for me. Like that made it so that I was continuing to push through. But there is a lot of miscommunication. And I understand why there is, because of the fact that like, he is a Playboy hockey player and she is like, absolutely not. I don't want to be involved with a Playboy hockey player. Like, I understand like where the hang up is and why there's so much miscommunication. But I also was not surprised. I was surprised that I was like, oh, Brittany, I found this new like
it was so like, funny, this conversation, because Neva was like, I finally found a good one. And I was like, oh, share. Like, I want to know. And,
and she was like,
I was like, oh, no.
She's like, I'm so glad you're loving it. But I did not tell you. It did take me until like halfway through the book. And it's like a 500-page book. And I was just like, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just push through this. Because my thing was, I was like, I do care about these characters. I do want to know what happens to them, because I was like, even if I don't like this book, I kind of want to move on to the rest, because I think I know who the next book will be about. And I do like those. I did like those characters from the beginning. Right. So I was like, I just want to get through it. And then about 50%, I was like, I'm vibing with this book. And then I was, but it's because at about 50%, they start to figure their crap out. That's why.
That's fair.
And they start to kind of, and there is some like, she has anxiety, like there's anxiety rep in it. And it's well written, in my opinion, as a person with anxiety. And he is definitely like that guy that's like a playboy, but like he doesn't, but like the reason is because he wants like what his parents had. So like if he can't find, so because he hasn't been able to find what his parents had, and he's always afraid that like women are using him because he's a hockey player and he makes a lot of money, he just defaults to just sleeping with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Which like is not great, but like I like I understand like the sentiment there, I guess. But it's just like if you don't want to push through it,
I don't.
I understand.
I definitely don't.
But like when it comes to fantasy, a lot of times we will mesh. If you didn't like something, I probably will. And even if I like something more or you like something more or vice versa, it's usually not like such a drastic change that I can still look at something and like be like, okay, Brittany really liked House of Bane and Blood. I'll probably like that book too. Brittany really liked Quicksilver. Probably like that book too. Honestly, When the Moon Hatched, I hadn't bought because Brittany hadn't read it, but I knew she was going to. And then Brittany was like, favorite book of the year. And I was like, okay, cool. So if Nell hadn't sent it for me for my birthday, I would have bought it this year. Because I was like, well, that's on my list of books. But then Nell sent it to me and I purposely didn't buy anything that was on my wish list until December because I was like, well, people are going to send me things, so I don't want to buy anything.
Yeah, you want to like wait till after that point.
So I thank God because I almost picked it up at Barnes and I would have had a double book.
You would have had it twice.
But yeah, so yeah, those are my 7 books, but technically 2 of them are for vlogs. Oh, and then Iron Flame. So I guess 8 books.
Well, we knew about that
3
one.
of them are for, but Iron Flame is for
A video
reasons also. So those 3 books are just because I am doing 3 things with them at once, but I'm also not putting pressure on me. I mean, they'll come out when they come out.
Exactly. Okay, so now we're going to get into the game that I saw on TikTok. So I saw a video on TikTok where they were trying to guess books by reading the Goodreads reviews. And I was like, oh, that is fun. Can I make this a video? And then I was like, no, I really need a second person. And then I went, wait, I have a second person where I can do this. And it's the morning show. So I sent Neva the TikTok, which I will link the TikTok down below as well. Just like if people want to go check out the TikTok that inspired it. I'm sure a lot of people are doing it on TikTok, but that's just the first one that I saw. So I sent Neva a message and said, hey, look at this TikTok. I think we should do it for the morning show. Let's find reviews of books that we know the other person has read and see if we can pick what they are, like see if we can guess. The second thing that I thought would be funny afterwards, like while I was picking mine yesterday, was did we end up picking for the same books? We shall see. Neva doesn't think so. I don't know. Also, I don't know. I don't think I went necessarily super hard. We'll see if you went super hard. Like, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know.
So I'll say that for the books I picked, I went off of your ratings. So I picked books that you rated highly.
Okay.
Simply to try to make it a little easier.
I appreciate that. I feel like I also did that for you. Like, I know you loved these books. Does that
But I also will say that the books that I picked, like, I had to really scour for, like, reviews because all of them were, like, 5 pages long. And I was like,
or they had people's names in them, which obviously made it plainly obvious.
And I will say that the first one that I picked for you, I just thought that it was funny. I've not like I thought it was funny, so I picked it, but it might be really obvious once I read the review to you.
That's okay. I think some of mine are really obvious too, but the thing is, are they obvious because we know what books they are for because we looked at like do you know what I mean? We'll see.
But I did purposely pick books that I thought you would remember at least enough detail about them because you rated them at least a 4-star.
Yes. I picked these are all books that you really, really like.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Because I was like, are we supposed to pick ones that like we didn't like? Because I was like, I don't feel like either one of us is gonna remember like a 3-star book.
No. These I think
like I'm definitely not gonna remember like a book I rated 1 star, like unless it was like really awful.
I think you gave all of these 5 stars, to be honest. Now maybe not
you gave. I think there's one on here that you gave. Maybe 2 on here that you gave 4 stars, but they're books that you and I have talked about before, so I know that you remember them.
Perfect. Enough.
Yeah.
I
Enough.
can't remember them enough. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
I mean, I can go first. That's fine.
Okay. Bring it on.
So the first one, the review says, "Y'all really want me to root for someone whose name means pillow in German?"
Pillow in German.
I just thought the review was funny.
You all want this is not easy. What is this? Okay. You all this is fun though, because I'm just like thinking whose name means pillow in German. I don't know what the word I need Aoife. Aoife, come tell me what pillow in German is.
I mean, I could look it up. I could look up what pillow in German is. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm phoning a friend for that one. And what's the name?
Pillow.
Well, that's not helpful. I have no idea. I have no idea. What is it?
God killer.
Oh, yeah, I would have never got that.
No, I picked that one just because, like, I thought that the review was funny.
I like it. That's a good one.
Okay, am I going again?
No, it's my turn.
Your turn. Okay, go.
Okay. We are getting Muffin's book. Everybody stay calm.
Muffin. Muffin?
We're not good at this game. This is what we're realizing.
Okay, is this a hockey romance?
Kind of.
Muffin. Okay, it can't be Maple Hills because that's done. So it can't be that, right?
You might want to rethink that thought process. This is a review. The book's out.
Oh, okay, that's true. Okay, Muffin. Who would be okay? Maybe it is Maple Hills then. Muffin's book. Is it Daydream?
No. It's Wildfire. Rust is Muffin.
Oh, I mean, I was close.
You were so close. When you were like, it's definitely not Maple Hills. I was like, you may want to.
But then you said it was out, so I was like, okay, yeah. But I think in my head I was thinking Daydream because Hallie bakes.
Yes.
So I was like, well, that would make sense, but I don't remember her being called Muffin.
Well, and that's why I said, when you said, is it a hockey romance? I was like, kind of, because Maple Hill or Wildfire is like the least hockey romance of the three.
Yeah, I did like Wildfire, but it was not hockey romance. It was not.
Well, there was no, trust me, I looked at Icebreaker and Daydream, and all the reviews were going to be blatantly obvious. Like, this was the most incognito one I could find. Truly.
I mean, I really had to scour because people would just be putting names just everywhere in reviews.
They do.
And I'm like, relax. Like, I'm not trying to censor myself when I'm reading the dang review.
They really, really do. Also, friends, if you want to play along and you can guess while we're trying to figure it out, like, guess in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, just pause us and
just
guess.
Like pause us, guess or like listen to our thought processes, and because we're clearly not good at this, which hopefully will be funny to you all. But yeah, okay.
Did you pick 4? Because I picked 4.
I picked 4. I don't know if we'll get to 4, but we'll see.
All right. So here's the next one.
Okay.
Okay.
You're laughing looking at the review.
Okay. So this one says spicy. I mean, there's like 1,000 Y's on that.
Okay.
I gasped, shamelessly smiled, and shouted out loud so many times. I am not a huge contemporary romance girly these days, but this book just hit so good. There were no slow parts, people. This is fast-paced, shocking, creepy, and just a great time.
Creepy? I was good. I was following until you said creepy.
I'm not sure. I will say this. I've not read this book. Creepy? This is a book that you told me to read.
Contemporary romance, and it's creepy.
Many a time you've told me to read it. I don't know where this person is getting creepy necessarily because you don't read creepy books.
No. Is it a contemporary romance or is it a fantasy romance?
To
Because it says
me,
contemporary in the review.
it says contemporary in the review, but from the discussions that you and I have had, this is going to be more of a like a romantasy book.
One Dark Rose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One Cursed Rose, but yeah.
One Cursed Rose. Yes.
Whatever.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's
right
close
there.
enough. But yes,
That's why
because
I
she
asked.
said contemporary romance, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a romantasy because it's a retelling.
Well, retellings can be contemporary, but there's magic. So
But then she
whole
said creepy, and I was like, creepy? Is it creepy?
I mean, he's just like, he's kind of like very morally gray. So I think that's probably what she's taking as creepy. But like also she thinks a fantasy romance is a contemporary romance. So we have to take that with a grain of salt.
And I mean, she did only give it 3.5 stars.
Rude. It's a great book. It's fabulous.
And then she rounded up to 4 for Goodreads.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I just feel like if you shouted out loud and shamelessly smiled and gasped, I feel like it should be at least a 4-star book. Like,
everybody's rating system is different.
Whatever.
Okay. So this next one. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
This was an experience, laughy emoji face. It's less why choose and more a tangled, thorny love pentagon.
Is this fucking around?
No. It's fantasy romance.
Less what? Is this oh my god, what is that book called? Oh shoot. Is this a Beauty and the Beast retelling?
Yes.
Son of a bitch. What is this book called? Hold on. Please hold. Because I have it like on the tip.
You know what it is. If you say Beauty, if you're telling me Beauty and the Beast retelling,
it's Beauty and the Beast. I have it on the tip of my tongue. It's by Elizabeth Helen.
It is Bonded by Thorns. I'll give it to you. You're describing the whole book. You just can't think of the title.
And you want to know something? You want to know something? Is I have to give this person their props on that because, in my opinion, it definitely is just like this really weird tangled mess. Like, because in that book, there's like they're all sleeping with each other.
Yeah. That's why she said it was a tangled, thorny love pentagon. And I read this review and went, not wrong.
Like, that's not wrong at all.
No.
Because people told me why choose, and I went into it thinking that it was just like this chick with a bunch of dudes. And then, like, there were dudes sleeping with each other, which is fine. Like, I'm down. Like, make it gay. But I wasn't expecting that part. And I remember, and I'm not good at reading I read my trigger warnings and I promptly forget them.
Yes,
so I'm just like having a good old time. And then homegirl just walks in on 2 of them doing the thing. And I was like, hold on. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Like, wait a minute. I was unaware that this was part of the book, but I'm here for it, you know? Okay, your go. So
Okay.
we're both 1 for 2.
Yeah. Okay. So What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish in book form. This book felt like a little kiss on the forehead from someone telling you everything is going to be okay.
Okay.
And you did, like I said, all these books you rated super high.
This is clearly a contemporary romance that I loved because I just don't know why you would describe a fantasy that way. Do you know what I mean? Am I right? You're looking at me like I'm wrong.
Let me actually go look really quick and see what the genre is because I don't actually. This is a book that I only know about because of you and one other person.
What was I made for? Can you read it again?
Yeah. So this would be I mean, Storygraph is saying it's LGBTQIA plus in science fiction. So, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish in book form. This book
it's Song for the Wild Built.
Yeah.
Oh, it's obviously a Song for the Wild Built. It's quite clearly Song for the Wild Built. It's quite clearly that.
It is. I mean, I just like that they said it was What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish in book form. This makes me want to read this book now.
Oh.
But I've only heard about this book through you and Leandra.
Do you want to have a good book cry? Prayer for a Crown Shy. Let me just give you the sequel. It's actually both, but like more.
More the second one. Okay.
More the second one. Okay. So This review is actually from a friend of ours. I will say this next one that I got is from a friend of ours. This is Rye's review of a book that we have read.
Okay.
I love a small town holiday romance. The atmosphere was done really well, and I felt like I was in a winter wonderland. I did find there were a few plot holes here and there, but overall, I really enjoyed my time reading this one. Excited to continue the series. I felt like this gave a lot of good like clues to this book. Like there's Rye put some really good like keywords.
Is this Love Light Farms?
It is Live Light Farms. It is.
No, what small? I was like, what small town romance have I read?
I wasn't sure if Winter Wonderland would throw you off because Love Light.
It did for a second.
Book.
But then I was like, but I don't know. I mean, but then when she said, what got me was continue the series. That's what made me think it was Love Light Farms. Because at first, when you said Winter Wonderland, I was like, oh, it has to be the How My Neighbor Stole Christmas or whatever.
Oh, I did look up reviews for that, but they were all very obviously that book.
But then I was like, but that's not a series. It's just a single book.
I mean, it's about to be a series, which is exciting.
Thank God, because I love that book. Okay.
I'm very excited.
This is this is your last one.
Okay.
Okay. This one might be a little bit more obvious because I couldn't really find a review for this one that didn't
give it away.
Refer to it in this way, in my opinion. It says no, because why was this novella way better than I expected it to be? A full-length story and full fleshed out characters. This vampire is so miserable over her that he wants to send her letters too. And I could find no reviews where they weren't talking about how it was.
Okay, vampire. Okay, there's no way I have read a lot of vampire books. Why is nothing immediately coming to mind? Send her letters too. So she sends letters to the vampire. What book is this?
I guess. I don't know. I haven't read this book yet.
Have I?
You have. You actually, this might give it away, but I do know that this book, you did give it 5 stars. I mean, you might have did it up, but according to Goodreads, you gave it 5 stars. Yeah. And when I've spoken to you about this book, it's where you stopped, I think, because you didn't like the book that came before it, but you liked this one. Or you didn't like the book that came before it as much, and then you were told to read this book, and you read it, and then that's where you stopped, I think.
Oh, that gives it away. It's Curse of Oban. Oh shoot.
I'm gonna give it to you, but yes, it's six Scorched Roses. Yeah.
I was thinking novella with vampires. I was like, what novella have I read with vampires? I was like, I don't read that many.
And no review. Every review I saw was like, yeah, this novella. And I was like, okay, well, fine.
Well, that clearly wasn't a dead giveaway. Honestly, I think I blocked Six Scorched. I blocked the whole series from my mind, honestly. Even though I liked the novella, but I haven't liked anything else since. So it's just
I'm pretty sure, didn't you stop after Six Scorched?
I did, and then I tried Daughter of No Worlds and didn't like it. So I'm just like, Six Scorched Roses is the only thing that worked, and it only works because it's Beauty and the Beast. Like, that's why it worked. Like, let's just be honest, that's why it worked.
And honestly, I liked Daughter of No Worlds. So
that's fair. It didn't work for me. I just think the author's writing style doesn't work for me, and the novella only worked because it's Beauty and the Beast. So like, I loved it because it's Beauty and the Beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. This one I feel like might be really obvious, but we're doing it anyway. It's fine. Fairy tales are tales as old as time. So to be able to take a classic tale and give it a modern, wicked twist while still maintaining the core of the story absolutely blows my mind. This blank retelling, which I'm not going to put what fairy tale retelling it is by far the most wicked twist I've read to date.
Is that Dark Oz?
It is Dark Oz.
Yes. It's the Wicked that gave it away. Because I was like, wicked twist.
Yeah, it's Dark Oz.
Well, actually, at first, I was like, oh, that could be Wretched. Because I've read Wretched by Emily McIntyre.
Yeah.
You've not read Wretched.
No, I haven't.
I did like it. It wasn't like I think I gave it 4 stars or something. I don't know. I read it during Bucket List-a-thon.
Yes.
in that vlog. And I liked it. It was fine. But yeah, when you said a wicked twist, I was like, But then they said that it was like the darkest one they'd ever read, which I was like, it's got to be Dark Gods because that's why choose, and
And it is quite dark. Like it's not probably the darkest thing I've ever read, but it's
oh, it's on. Yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait to continue that series this month. I cannot.
Now I will say I have a bonus one. Now I know what the answer to this is, not because I looked at the spoiler text, but when I originally saw this on TikTok, I asked my patrons because I was thinking about doing it as a video, but we didn't really have enough. Then I was like, oh no, I'll do it with Neva. But the one that Stacy sent, I have to read it. It's a 1-star review of a book that we have read. We both have read this book, I'm pretty sure. Okay. It's a 1-star review, and I think it was very, I haven't looked under the spoiler tag to see if it's the book I'm thinking of, but like it has to be the book that I'm thinking of. Do you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
So time of death, 46%. Thank you, Wanker Cowboy. You're dismissed. To everyone who said it was great, I hope you will forgive me, but I found this book cringy and boring. I couldn't care less about the supposedly sexy cowboy with a ponytail and his princess.
What?
See, the ponytail is what gave it away for me, to be honest.
Okay, I haven't read. First of all, I haven't read that much cowboy romance.
Right, so that should narrow it down for you.
And I don't think I don't think he has a ponytail in Reckless, does he?
No,
that because that's Elsie Silver. I don't think he has. I don't think.
But that's not. You haven't read Reckless. Are you thinking Flawless?
Whichever one that's the single dad one.
No, that's Heartless.
He doesn't have a ponytail.
No, but you're in the right series, and I'm right. It's Flawless. It's the first Elsie Silver book.
The first one in the series, right? So I have read that one.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. So, wow.
I literally was cackling. I was like, well, that's a bit harsh. But also knew exactly what it was. The ponytail cowboy. I was like, I knew exactly who it was. I was like, oh, that's Rhett. Ponytail cowboy. Anyway, I saw that one and I thought, oh, I know Neva's read this book because the other one that was sent was Quicksilver. So I was like, well, Neva hasn't read Quicksilver, so I can't send you Quicksilver because it's not going to mean anything to you. But you will be reading Quicksilver soon.
I will be. I'm actually hoping it's on my TBR for the month.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping to get to it this month because I know people are talking about it like in Ramadan, but it is a book that got picked. My TBR will go up soon. But I'm hoping to get to it this month. If I don't, then I will just push it to whenever. But eventually I will get to it.
Absolutely. But we've been here for an hour. Where did that hour go? I do not know. But that's the end of the morning show. We'll be here in theory every single Monday, friends. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to subscribe, like all the things, comment, let us know that you were here. And we will see you next Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll see you soon. Bye.